Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack. This is going to be a video on finishing hatchet handles or finishing any kind of axe handle using boiled linseed oil and a burn. Okay, and you may not have seen this before, but if you want to make your handles really look phenomenal, this video is for you. So we're taking, we've got a box of hatchet handles here, and we are going to my shop in the garage to do most of this because I don't want to burn the house down. So hang with me, we're gonna go for a ride. So we're going to the shop. How's that for a little bit of getting thrown around? Sorry, gang. Dog thinks there's someone here. She'll realize there ain't. So this may be locked, which it is. So this is supposed to be a competition day, but it's a little bit wet out. So I moved the competition till Sunday, which is great. So we'll be going over there Sunday. That's tomorrow to compete in Rogersville. But today I'm going to finish up this axe handle order. So we're out here in the shop. This is the East Coast Lumberjack shop. And things are a little messy because we've been busy. We've been running the lumberjack shows right out straight, and I've been working on a few little projects to make some room. Come right back in with the axe handles, and then we'll get on the burn. Okay. So a couple things when we get started. I'm Rod Cumberland. I'm from East Coast Lumberjack here in Fredericton, actually Keswick Ridge, New Brunswick. And we're doing a burn and a hang. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to show you, the last video I did show you hanging these axes. So this is the animals. Actually, let me get you one that's not wrapped. Okay. So, wicked cool axe. Okay. It's a pretty neat little project. I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell or can tell, but it's a pretty cool project. So, he wants these finished like this. He wants a burn on the handles and finished with linseed oil. So, knowing what I have to do, a little bit rough right there. I'll get some sandpaper and sand that down. So knowing what he wants to do with these things, if you think through the process, I could probably hang them and wedge them and then burn them and then oil them. But the burn, I'm getting up onto his axe head and it may not look as pretty. It may heat the head and cause a little bit different crease there. So what I've done, what I'm going to do, is the head has been hung, okay? The axe head's hung, all it needs is a wedge. So I'm going to pop these off, and I'm going to do the burn, and I'm going to burn the top part here as well. And then I'm going to wedge it. Sorry, once I burn the handle, I'm going to put it back in, then I'm going to wedge it, cut off the top, and then I'm going to oil it last. Okay, so that's a process I'm going through. Just so the, now I burnt that handle with the head on it and I had to stay away from the head so it didn't get all the grains right up to there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you this. Okay, so a little hammer. These are on there just as snug as can be, which is nice. And they slide right on. See how, man, they are. Talk about friction fit. It's really nice to have them on there that tight. Because it's going to make a beautiful hang. And because it is so snug, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room here in the kerf. So what I had to do, or what I did do, uh-oh, it's coming on. Hang on. Excuse me. And they come in twos. So it's just a matter of time. There'll be another one. So I've made myself special wedges. Really, really narrow wedges. Okay, you see that? Because I want to get as much wood down in that groove as I can in the kerf. So we get a really nice tight fit. So I've made some special wedges for these. Okay, I thought my torch was right here, but it isn't. I used it on the barbecue. Be right back. So, this is what we're using. It's just a butane torch. The head on it. Pretty simple setup for me. I use this to light my big green egg. I got one from my boy there a little while ago. He actually won it at the Steel Timber Sports Finals in London, Ontario. So I'm getting the hang of running that thing. So you see how this is working here now. Okay. And all you're doing, you're burning we talked about this before, about hardwood, and especially handlewood that's ring porous. So this is a ring porous wood, it's ash. And in ring porous wood, when it puts on the early wood, there's all these vessels, okay? And it looks like an Aero chocolate bar, okay? Little holes all through it. And that part of the wood is what burns, okay? Because they're really thin-walled cells, thin-walled wood cells. And they'll burn pretty quickly, okay? Because the walls of the cells are pretty thin. So what we're doing here is actually burning those exposed cells. Okay, and it gives a really, look at that look. It's a really cool look. So again, you don't want to get it leave it too long in one spot. Keep it moving. Okay, and it'll burn right along. Sometimes if you don't see it really clearly, you may want to go back and touch it again, hit it again with some heat. But I'll show you here in a minute. I'll show you here in a minute why East Coast Lumberjack handles are wanted all over the world. Because we make our handles by hand here at East Coast. So I secure the wood. I secure the wood myself. And I make sure, so see now we're getting up around the top. So I want to make sure it's right up there tight to where the axe head is going to be sitting. Okay, so all around here. Okay, right up there nice and snug to the top. Alright. Okay. So there's a few places I've missed. I'm just going to hit them a little bit again. There. Okay, so I'm really glad the customer asked for this, because these handles are going to look wicked in those axe heads. So we've got one done now. So let's take a close look at it. Okay, so there's the end of it. Here it is, burnt the whole way along, right up to the top. Okay, now East Coast Lumberjack handles are really liked and popular with a lot of people because of this. Okay, you see the grain there? It's just as straight as a die the whole length of the handle. So when you burn it, okay, so this is one grain. It runs the whole way down the length of the handle. Okay, so my grain is straight, and I take a lot of effort to get my grain straight. So because of that, it makes sometimes even when you burn a handle like this, it's white almost the whole length of it, like there. You only get a lot of grain here when you get a little bit of like down here at the end, where you get some flare on the handle and you actually cross a bunch of grains. So these are what we call wall hangers. Okay, they're a display item. So because of that, what I did now, usually I try to get my wood grain just as straight as I can, and this grain is all pretty straight. But I've tried to just twist it, or not twist it, but orient my pattern just a little bit so they get a lot more grain showing in the wood. Okay, and I did that intentionally because I want, this is the look you get. Okay, and actually, if you're going to burn a handle and it's a wall hanger, tip from the East Coast Lumberjack, don't actually orient your grain straight up and down like I always do to hang an axe head for a functional handle. If you reorient your pattern on the wood so that you're actually crossing the grain, even get a pile of run out, okay, because it looks really phenomenal when you burn it, okay. So, and that's what you want. You want that cool look. So once you do that, once you burn your handle, it's a little bit rough, okay, it's a little bit rough. So I'm just going to hit that with some 120 grit sandpaper. Okay, so I'm just going to take the rough stuff off, okay, just so it's smooth again. Because the last step here is going to be BLOing it, and then they're off, okay, they're going back to the owners. So, I'm just taking when you burn it, a lot of those little cells, those little hollow cells, vessels, will be sticking out. Okay, and they're a little bit sharper than you might want them. So if you just hit that with a little bit of sandpaper, it smooths it right out again, okay? So you still have the look. Okay, the look's all there. And it is a pretty sweet looking handle, okay? And now what we're going to do, we're going to pop our handle back on, or our head back on. It should be nice and snug. Okay, which it is. Beautiful snug. Okay. So we're going to just tap it on. Okay, so now that the head's on, take a look. Okay, see the grain goes right up into the eye, that burn. So it gives you that really pretty look right up into the eye. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take one of my nice thin wedges, and we're going to pop that in here. And we're going to wedge this nice and snug. The other thing I do, I go from the front to the back and then the back to the front of the wedges. I'm pounding it down, and sometimes it'll break, a lot of times it'll break, which is good, because when you get the front little piece down like that, it opens the eye just that kerf a little bit more, so you can get the other ones down. And you just keep going back and forth until it won't go down anymore. So that's set. Okay. So the last thing we will do, and it's got a really good wedger. See how much that's spaced? So it's really prying apart. We know the axe head's snug to begin with, And now we've wedged it really tight at the top. That baby's not coming loose. And I checked them inside, we're right around 6% moisture in these ash handles. So that's just about finished there. So all I'm going to do, now I have a bandsaw out here, but it's not running really true. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to take this back inside. I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to finish burning the top of it. Okay, just to keep the look. And I'm just going to burn the very top. Okay. So that's what this looks like. Okay. Now tell me that's not a wicked looking axe, eh? Really neat. And it's for a really great bunch of guys. I'm not sure if they'll see that. I'll tell them that I put this video up so maybe they can watch it and see how the axes were made. It might be interesting to them. So yeah, so the last step of this now, what I will do is I'll hit this with some BLO here right now. Okay. So there's my boiled linseed oil. And I need a little rag. There it is. And then all you do, get that on your rag, and then you start wiping it on. Now, I'll show you the difference. Okay. And this head is so tight, there's no room for it to get up underneath that axe head. So, this really, really pops the grain. So look at this. This is burnt without it. That's burnt with the boiled linseed oil. So see how much darker that is than this? It just gives a beautiful look. Okay, I really love this look, and I'm liking it more and more. So you may see, I may even wind up at a lumberjack show with a chopping axe that's got a burnt grain on it, just to show people what we can do and how good it looks. Okay, it actually makes your handles look really wicked. So at least I like it, especially because it's so straight grain. Because when you do that and the grain all pops, you can actually look and see, okay, yeah, that grain's pretty impressive. Especially for us lumberjack guys that are all about straight grained wood. So I'm going to do the whole thing right out to the end. Got another, my grandson's coming over for a visit, Matt, and his dad's bringing him, Nathan, of course. And so they're coming for their weekend visit. It's a lot of fun. We get to play with them and watch them run around and have a hoot out here. But I got a big project in the yard. And it's probably the wrong time of the year to be buying it, but because of the time of the year, I got a really good buy on it. I got an old 40 Econoline camper. I don't know what it is, 26 foot or something. I didn't even measure it. I have no clue. It's an oldie. It's an 86. So of course I got it for a song because it's old. But it's only got 100,000 clicks on it. So not a lot of miles on that engine. Sounds like it needs a muffler or a hole in the exhaust repaired. And it needs a little bit of TLC inside. There's been a few water leaks over the years. But we're going to tackle that baby next spring. So this is the finished product here. So man, tell me that's not a beautiful axe, huh? Isn't that gorgeous? And then look at the grain, and even in the, see, it really matches that axe head. So that's start to finish on a burn and the boiled linseed oil. All I have left to do now is take the top of this off. Okay, and then I'll finish it up. Now I'll do a little bit more back and forth, but you guys got beat around so bad at the first of this, I'm not going to do it to you now. Because my bandsaw inside cuts nice and straight, so I'll take these all back in, cut that off, and I'll come back out here and I'll burn that top little piece, linseed oil it, and then of course this is where I also package it up. So I'll package them here. So there you go, East Coast Lumberjack. That's burning and BLOing an axe handle. So I hope you liked it. Hope you got something out of it. Big shout out to Red. How you doing there, kid? One of my best fans. So thanks a lot, Sissy, for watching and enjoying it. Now, just before we go, look at this. So this is with it. This is without it. Huge difference. Okay, you see that? It's a nice white handle. Now, if you like, nice white handles, that's what you get. But there they are side by side. And the burn just makes them really look phenomenal. So I just saw that sitting there, and I saw the contrast. I thought I should show them that contrast. So that's it from the East Coast Lumberjack. Join us again next week. See you, gang.